Hey, this is Warren Sprouse. You're on the Bible Forum. You're just watching a piece of it. We do this every night every Sunday night for 2 hours. We talk from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. It's daylight savings time now. I keep saying that because this is the first Sunday we've had it. It just happened today. I've already gotten complaints. Guy on the chat room says he's tired of waiting for the show to start. He's been up an extra hour. I sympathize. Are you paying any attention to what's going on with the election, with the accusations going back and forth of misdoing between the Hillary camp and so forth? The FBI has found 650,000 emails on Anthony Weiner's home laptop. Anthony Weiner is married to Huma Abedin. Huma Abedin is Hillary's right-hand woman. Huma Abedin's family is up to their ever-loving eyeballs in the Islamic Brotherhood and Sisterhood. Her mother was at one point the titular head of the Sisterhood, which is the female branch of the Brotherhood. That's another story. On this computer, in these emails, the government has identified thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of emails with addresses that end in @state.gov, as well as at clintonmail.com. And the FBI has been investigating the Clinton Foundation since February. We also know that the Department of Justice, has repeatedly tried to shut down that FBI probe. Who runs the Justice Department? Well, the Attorney General of the U.S. Who is the Attorney General? A longtime Clinton ally by the name of Loretta Lynch. What did she do before she was the Attorney General? She ran the Eastern District of New York, the nation's premier litigation office, representing the three of the 5 boroughs of New York City. She represented Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, as well as both suburban counties on Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk. What's that mean? It means she was in charge of the investigation for the federal government of Huma Abedin's husband, Anthony Weiner. It means that she may have gotten the appointment to Attorney General to make sure this investigation did not damage the Clintons. And we'll learn later on how it can also damage Mr. Obama. You see, Weiner was found to have been sexting underage girls, sending them pictures of himself from his phone and from his computer. But it turns out that Huma had apparently secreted over 600,000 Clinton server emails on that computer, far more than the 30,000 she admitted to. Now, she swore under oath that all of them had been turned in and all the equipment had been accounted for. That alone will put her in jail. Speculation is that Anthony made a deal. I'll give you my computer in return for not going to jail, knowing full well what was on that computer. This puts Bill Clinton's premeditated and inappropriate visit to Attorney General Loretta Lynch in a government airplane on the tarmac in Phoenix this past summer in a new perspective. People who know say that sort of thing can't just happen. He wasn't just passing through and recognized that she was there and said, "Let me come over." Her Secret Service needed to clear it. His Secret Service needed to schedule the stop. Her schedule needed to accommodate it. Flight times needed to be requested, logged, delayed, etc. And they just sat and talked for a half hour about the grandchildren. Today, the whole thing just seems to start beginning to unravel. Suggestions as to what's going on include that Huma Abedin probably lied under oath when she told the FBI she'd turned over all emails and devices in her possession. The Wall Street Journal reports that 650,000 new emails have been found on these computers. She'd been given immunity by the Justice Department, but her lies under oath likely cancel that deal. If Huma is vulnerable to a perjury or obstruction of justice charge, it could lead her to turn on her mentor, Miss Hillary. In any case, Hillary has to fire her. Included in the 650,000 emails may be some or all of the ones Hillary had deleted before she turned over the remainder to the State Department. If any of those deleted emails contain classified or top secret material, she is in very, very deep doo-doo and would likely face criminal charges. It may also show that the number of deleted emails far exceeded the 33,000 that she claimed. The Wall Street Journal reported that the FBI is also investigating the Clinton Foundation and has been doing so since February of this year. The Justice Department opposed the investigation and has tried to rein it in, but the FBI and local U.S. attorneys in 4 cities are determined to proceed. Those attorneys general have threatened to conduct their own investigation if the Justice Department will not. The Clinton Foundation is so riddled with pay-for-play scandals that investigating it could be very dangerous for the Clintons. So where are we? Well, one, the FBI informed Congress that these emails have been discovered and that an investigation was underway. They will not be processed before Election Day, let alone categorized or scanned for information. Did I mention there were 650,000 of them? The fact that they exist is what threatens Hillary's freedom. She lied under oath, not to mention the crimes the emails expose, which are crimes of the highest order, crimes against the state. The crimes include collusion and a form of international blackmail where the Clinton Foundation is concerned. Secondly, there is one email where daughter Chelsea chastises Bill's chief aide, Doug Band, for, quote, ripping off her father, end of quote, by combining business and charitable concerns. In response, in defense, he provides to her via email on this computer a 13-page accounting of all the income he had channeled to Bill, over $60 million worth. And he also provided a playbook and a scorecard for the pay-for-play scandals at the foundation. This is not good for Mr. Doug Band nor the Clintons. The third thing here is that everything you thought was going on was, and much, much more. Be careful when people like this tell you things. They're telling you stuff to keep you from learning the worst stuff. Now, in response to all this, Attorney General Loretta Lynch has appointed Peter Kadzik, an Assistant Attorney General, in order to investigate the email scandal. And so she's washed her hands of this. She's done the right thing. Issue solved. We're going to get this under control, right? No. Peter Kadzik is what we call an FOB. He's a friend of Bill. Kadzik is the guy that kept John Podesta out of jail when he was accused of arranging a UN job for Monica Lewinsky. At least that's what Podesta said about him. Now, Bill's so-called illegitimate black son is making the rounds. He is now petitioning the court to get a DNA sample of Bill from Monica's infamous dress. And he's also written to the President of these United States asking that if he can have this sort of thing. You see, the beat just keeps going on. And it sounds like Podunkville on a cable channel, but it's not. It's the presidency of the United States. Anyway, Kadzik shows up again in the Mark Rich scandal. You remember Mark Rich? Rich was involved in circumventing the Iranian trade restrictions during Bill's presidency. He fled the country rather than face jail time. But then Bill pardoned him as he was leaving office. Mrs. Rich then gave the Clinton Library $1 million. The Justice Department investigated that pardon. Guess who defended the pardon and Bill? Peter Kadzik. When a congressional committee subpoenaed Kadzik to testify, he fled to California. A U.S. Marshal met him at the gate, served him, escorted him back. This is the man who's now in charge of the email scandal for the government. It's incestuous. The Justice Department's investigation comes because at least 4 states' attorney general have threatened to conduct their own investigation if the federal government refuses. Lynch caved, appointing an independent counsel with authority to issue subpoenas. But he has no authority to convene a grand jury. Which means what? It means he can solicit testimony under oath, but he cannot make them testify. Dick Morris says, quote, look for a whitewash to protect the Clintons and Obama. Did I mention Obama's on record as having used Hillary's private server? He corresponded to her and received correspondence from her under a fake name. Meaning, he knew. He knew he shouldn't be doing this. He did it anyway. How's all this going to affect the election? Well, I think all of this, not all of it's going to be out in time to the vast majority, but all of this plus Hillary's likability factor and her poor health, you got a failed candidate on your hands. More and more Democrats and black Democrats have come out saying they can't vote for her. Preliminary voting, early voting, is showing the black community is voting about half what they did for Obama. Everywhere, Democrat early voting is down. Will millennials stay home, or will they vote for Donald? Probably they'll vote for Bernie. They'll write him in. More likely, the Democrat turnout will not be sufficient to elect Clinton. We hope. We pray. But what if she is elected? Will she go to jail? She should. Would she be forced to abdicate? Will she be isolated by Congress? Will we have a Senator Tim Kaine as president? And how will that impact God's program? Not at all. Whatever happens is God's program. We're going to be looking at that a little bit later on under the title Satan's Control Over the World. Oh, it's not as bad as it sounds. But it does put us in very interesting places.